Hello. I don't have a wheelie chair. That could have been a lot better, but it wasn't. This is a bit of a different video. This is not a vlog, as you can tell. This is going to be my top tips for starting college for anyone that's watching in the US and is about to go to college, or anyone that's watching in the UK, which is where I'm from. Any of you that are about to start university or college there, these are my tips as a freshman. So I'm just going to start out by talking about my own experience as a international student in America. I came here on vacation. I came here on holiday, and then I moved to college, moved in, and then I was left here. So my experience is a little bit different to everyone else's, and that is probably going to affect the way that I see college a little bit compared to everyone else, but I'm going to try and keep the questions focused on people that aren't moving country or aren't, because I know it's a rarity to move across overseas. So I am at New College of Florida, so I'm in Sarasota, Florida. We had orientation here, so most universities or colleges will probably do the same thing, an orientation or some kind of freshers. Like, there'll be a lot of icebreakers. Expect a lot of icebreakers. That was one of the things that I had when I came here on the first week. And then obviously I've been here for almost 3 weeks now, so yeah, I'm obviously quite fresh to the experience. So these are my kind of tips and stuff as someone that is fresh into the experience. Like, I've seen lots of videos on YouTube that are seniors or people that have graduated telling you about college, but I thought it'd be interesting to talk about it as someone that's like literally new to the experience. So tip number one is about the things that you bring from home for your kind of life or your dorm, etc. So obviously, as someone that went overseas, I only had a few suitcases to bring with me, and you have to distribute your things efficiently. And it might be the same for people that are driving up to university. You've only got a certain amount of car space, so you will want to use as little space as possible. So only bring the essentials. That is tip number one. Essentials include, bedding if you're not going to buy it there, keepsakes, books, things to keep you entertained. One of my biggest things is a TV. If you can get yourself a TV, or if you can bring one with you, amazing. It does help take up a lot of time. You'll find that when you get to college, you have a lot more spare time in your day, because your day becomes revolved around academics. But if you've only got 2 classes in a day, then you're looking to fill time. So if you've got a TV or if you've got ways to entertain yourself, that's perfect. I brought my record player. That was lovely because it means you can have a little bit more of an atmosphere. Some other examples of things I brought for myself would be posters for the wall, fairy lights, things like that from home to keep the room feeling like home. You don't want to come back to a place that doesn't feel homely or like what you're used to. So I would say, yeah, tip number one is to have entertainment, keepsakes, books. Some examples of things not to bring would be things like stationery, notebooks. Unless they count as keepsake items, I would recommend leaving those at home. And then this brings me on to my next point, which is buying the things that you can out where you're going to university. So to make the trip more effective and to stop yourself from lugging loads of things around that you don't need, buy things like notepads, pens, stationery, etc. Buy them there. Find yourself a Tesco, find yourself a Walmart, wherever you are in the world, and get those things for yourself when you're there, because it saves a lot of time trying to find these things, putting them in cases. It saves you space. It means you can bring more keepsake items and stuff For instance, I didn't bring, obviously as an international student that came overseas, I couldn't bring that stuff anyway because I had limited case space, like I've said. So for buying things like notepads, cheap as chips in somewhere like Walmart, I know at home they're the same in Tesco or like B&M, Home Bargains, somewhere like that, if you know that, if you're from the UK. And part of that is also only buying what you need. Don't buy excessive amounts of stuff that you probably won't need or use. If you know you're taking 5 classes a semester, buy yourself 5 notebooks. Don't buy yourself 10 and then not use them, because then you've just wasted £10 when you could have just spent £5, or you just wasted $15 when you could have spent $10. For groceries as well, only buy yourself what you think you're going to consume, or what you think you're going to eat, for the amount of time that you're not going to get to go back to the shop for. So if you haven't got a car, you're not going to be able to go back to a shop for whenever you can, until you can walk or until you can find someone else that's got a car. So only buy yourself as much as you think you're going to consume and not waste things. So for example, when I went shopping last week, I got myself 2 bags of chips, some cookies and some grapes, and then some milk, just to keep me going until we next go back to the shops, so that I avoid wasting food unnecessarily. I already had cereal, I already had popcorn, I already had things like that in. But the other big difference is I'm catered for. So if you're a catered student, you're not going to be buying as much anyway. If you're not catered for, you're going to be buying groceries a bit more. So again, I would say if you're not catered for, only buy things for meals that you know you're going to make, because then you'll end up saving money and you'll also save waste. Point number 4 would probably be try and keep a balanced lifestyle. When you're living on your own without discipline from your parents, and especially when you're catered for, which is what I found, it can be hard to try and balance your regime, your food, your kind of exercise as much as you would when you're at home, because you haven't got that kind of same regimentation. You're doing things yourself rather than someone telling you when and how to do things. So if there's a gym, for example, go to the gym. If you have free access to a gym on campus, or if there's one nearby, get a gym membership, go to the gym. That is the one thing that I've felt most amazing for doing and about since I've been here, is getting myself in a gym and working out, because it just makes you feel so much better, especially when you're eating imbalanced food, imbalanced meals, because you're a student. Like you're eating what you can afford. It's your first time living alone. For a lot of people, you're trying to feed yourself, and it does become imbalanced. So getting yourself in a gym can help burn those calories, keep you not only physically fit but feeling better about yourself as well. That's what I found. And obviously you have to try and eat healthily yourself. Not always possible, especially when pasta is only about 17 pence in the cheapest part of Tesco. That becomes a very simple meal fix, but carbs with no protein then leads to sugar, and so not keeping it off, but keeping a balance will make you feel better about yourself. However, another really important part of balance is balancing academic stuff with your social stuff. I'll get onto academics in a little bit. But socialization, you need to put time aside for yourself. I've found most effectively in the evenings, spending time with friends, putting time aside for yourself away from studies. It goes without saying. This is what you're told. You'd be told this in high school and in secondary school, to not prioritize studying all the time. You need time with friends, you need time to do things for yourself, so having time to come back to your room and read or watch TV, like I said earlier, is so important, because you can't burn yourself out in the first few weeks doing all the work that's set. Balance it up. All about balance. Something else that comes with being balanced as well, and this is leading into point 5, is just staying organized. So there is 2 things that you need to stay organized about. You need to stay organized about your academics to make sure you're on top of work, obviously, but you also need to stay organised in your own life. You need to make sure that your dorm room is clean and tidy. Otherwise, you're going to come home to a messy environment, and being in a messy environment isn't good for your psychological, just your state. It's not good. Being in a messy environment is going to make you messy as a person. So some cleaning products I would recommend buying. A simple surface spray, that kind of thing. Some of this, Febreze. Instead of buying a plug-in air freshener, this is like cheap as chips, and you can just spray it around when you leave the room when it smells bad, and just keep it smelling nice and not having a grotty, stinky environment, basically. Plenty of laundry stuff. In America, pods, because of the way that it works. At home, fabric softener and gel to put in the washing machine. Like keeping a cheap, but you need to choose one that smells nice, because here, that smells fine, but some of the cheaper ones are gonna make your clothes look like that. Another thing about laundry, try and do laundry probably, depending on how many clothes you have, you want to always try and have like a good balance of things to wear. So I would do laundry about every 2 weeks, once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, as long as you can make your clothes stretch that long. Then it's money efficient if you've got to pay for it. If it's free, I mean, do it for whenever you want, if you can afford to buy the washing liquid and stuff. But yeah, that should give you enough time to have a decent amount of different clothes, because it's obviously about practicality, but lots of us think about it as being the aesthetics of wearing clothes as well. We want enough outfits to last, so we're not re-wearing and re-wearing. But as long as you can keep on top of that, then that's all good. Something else that's going to help you stay organised is having a pair of these. They are cleaning gloves. I have not used them yet, but they are dishwashing gloves, but they're also good for cleaning the toilet. You never know what your situation's going to be with the toilet. So if you need to clean sinks, if you need to clean toilets, they're very useful to have. These are one of the best inventions ever, in my opinion, and I think every household should have one. Scrub mummy or scrub daddy. Either or. I personally prefer the mummy ones because they have this like flexi. This is not an ad, by the way. Hashtag not spawn. They have the nice foamy section on the back as well, which is really nice for cleaning. These are amazing. They will clean your sinks, they will clean your toilet if you want them to. They are amazing for washing up, obviously that's their sole purpose. But yeah, I would recommend getting 2 or 3 of these and just keeping them around, one in the bathroom, one in your room, one in the kitchen. Part of staying organised is also staying on top of your personal health as well. So making sure you know when you're either not well or when you need something. So I always keep some antacid tablets for like heartburn or indigestion or something like that. Because you know, when you're eating these foods, these cheap foods when you're a student, sometimes it's going to cause a little bit of indigestion if you're eating pasta a lot and pizza, etc. Headache tablets, always keep headache tablets. Anodine, paracetamol, ibuprofen, anything like that, keep them on you, because there is going to be times when you study and it just gets a bit too much and you're going to get a headache, and they are a perfect remedy, obviously. First aid band-aids, keep a box of those with you, and any medication that you need that is prescribed to you, take with you. I have got about 6 asthma inhalers in that drawer, because obviously being overseas, I'd have to pay for it here, but I got them all for free in the NHS at home and then brought them over. If you're in England and if you need them, stock up on them before you leave, grab them, take them all with you, and then you won't have to seek out another practice and try and get them from there or have to pay for them. So that's kind of all for step 5, staying organised with yourself. Number 6, I think, is probably planning your days, kind of what you're going to do, because this is going to help you keep that balanced, organised lifestyle. So if you wake up in the morning and you go, okay, I have a class at 9 AM and I have a class at 4 PM. What am I going to do in the time between classes? For me, right now, because I haven't got any work, because I've done it, filming a video. But like, if you're saying, okay, so I've got so-and-so to do, so-and-so to do, and this to do, say, right, well, I'll do 2 of those between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock when, you know, classes, I've not got any classes, and then I'll do another one at 3 till 3:30. And then that time in the middle, plan to do something social, go out and visit a friend in a dorm, or watch TV, or read a book, or something like that. Planning your day like that is going to help you have a sense of stability and schedule. which is going to be something that's probably going to disappear for a little bit, because when you're at home and you're at school, like normal, you've got a sense of schedule every single day. When you're here and you're living by yourself, sometimes there's going to be times when you're just like not doing anything, and it's going to feel really weird. So planning your days is going to be a really good idea. Now, I recommend buying yourself one of these. It's the whiteboard, and giving yourself a to-do list. So every time I get a new piece of homework, I've written it on here. You can see I've got reading to do here, but I've done my reading, and this discussion post. So keeping this for the homework you've got to do is going to help. Whenever you look at it, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I've got that to do, so I'm going to plan to do that here and there. And also they're easy to use for classes as well. If you're doing maths, for example, writing on it, they're just a brilliant thing to have. So this is really going to help you plan your day. So a bit more on academics now. Step 7, I think, is just to push hard. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be more difficult than secondary school was, than high school was. There is a lot more work. There is more work expected when you get homework. For example, my French class, I'm taking a French class this semester. If you've watched the vlog from the other day that I posted, you'll know what classes I'm taking. But yeah, in French, we will get an average of 5 or 6 pieces of different homework per lesson due for the next lesson, which will be like in 2 days' time. So you're gonna have a lot of things to do. So just push through it. Don't procrastinate. Procrastination is the worst thing you could do. Delaying is fine if you wanted to like have a break, delay it till later. Perfectly healthy. But procrastination is the worst idea. Do not procrastinate. I am guilty of procrastination. The other day I had a reading to do and physical work to do, and I'm someone that likes to physically, buckle down and get on with some physical work. And if it's a reading, I'll go, okay. So I ended up not doing the reading until midnight and then getting 6 hours of sleep. Yes, guilty as charged. So don't do that. Don't do me. I know I'm giving you the advice, but don't do what I did the other day. The best way is to just do it. Do not procrastinate. And my 8th tip is to socialise when you get here. This is going back more to the kind of lifestyle tips, away from the academic stuff. I don't really have any more tips for academic stuff. Everyone learns differently, but socialise when you get here. If it's not your thing, if you don't like making new friends, and if you find it difficult, push yourself to talk to people. Everyone's in the same boat. Everyone is in the same boat. Everyone wants to make new friends. The first thing to do when you get there is to talk to someone. My first day, I spoke to my new friend Maddie. She was the first person I spoke to, and now we are so close that we just hang out every day. So that just shows how that kind of first talk can lead to an amazing relationship. Guaranteed, people you meet on the first day, you're not going to stay with for an entire year, or the whole 4 years, or the whole 3 years. But having a connection to start with, and having people to go round with, and having people to talk to when you need help in the first few weeks is literally the best thing ever. Call your mum, call your dad, call your nan, call your brother, call your sister. Keep in touch with your family. In some cases, they might miss you more than you miss them. In my case, you're going to miss them as equally as they're missing you. Keep in touch. They want to hear from you every day. I'm telling you now. They are going to want to hear from you every day. They want to know you're still alive. They want to know that you're eating well. They want to know what you're watching. They want to know what you're studying. They want to know how you're doing. Tell them. Don't let them worry, because that's not fair on them. That is the most important thing of all. The other most important thing, aside from that, is have fun. You're on your own, kid. As Taylor Swift said, you're on your own, kid. You always have been. Well, you haven't always been, because you've been living with your parents, but now that you're not, you're on your own. So you can probably do things that you never had the freedom to do before. Like, oh, I'm just going to go out and do this. Oh, I'm just going to go out and do that. Like, have fun. That is the most important thing about it that I've learned, is to have fun. Live that life like you're in a movie, the life you've always wanted to. This is the time to do that. It's the perfect time to just become the person you wanted to be. So by organising yourself, going to the gym, learning how to buy things that you need, putting in that academic studies in order to succeed in class, doing all these things to make you a better person, and having fun. It all comes together to basically create a more independent and amazing person. But yeah, that is pretty much it from me. They are my top 10 tips as a freshman. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you take those into consideration, because it's not an easy time in life. You're living on your own for the first time. I hope that I can help some of you that are almost about to leave, have left, are already there. I hope I can help some of you to feel a little bit more comfortable in that environment, and I hope you take the tips on board and live the best life you can. That is my video on tips, and make sure you subscribe to see vlogs and more lifestyle videos like this, tips, Disney, etc., Florida stuff, because that's where I am. All that being said, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!